back to the Annie Frey Show. It's 12:30 here in St. Louis, and I am standing here with Dan O'Neill. I'm sure you've read some of Dan O'Neill's work, formerly in the Post-Dispatch, but now he's writing some other things. I've got a book in my hand right now. I'm going to show it to the camera here on the YouTube, but it's Crazy But True, St. Louis History. And Dan, welcome to the studio. Good to have you here.
Oh, thanks for having me. Great to be here.
It is great to be here with you, and I did not know that in the City Museum is the world's largest pair of underwear.
Oh, you didn't? Wow.
No.
Most people know that.
No, I did not know.
Yeah.
I've never been to the City Museum. My kids
really?
have gone, but I've never gone in.
Well, your kids might know it then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's some big
the
underpants.
waist size is 16 feet. Yeah.
So is that something that someone just makes so that they can have a record?
I would think so.
Right?
I would hope so. I hope there's nobody. I hope they didn't get them from
They
an
borrowed
actual
them?
It's just
person.
some guy
To
in
return them?
That would be a really big person.
So, Dan, when you were putting
mine.
together this book, Crazy But True St. Louis History, how much of this was just rolling around in your head and you're like, I just got to put this all in one place?
Well, first of all, I just want to tell you I'm a big fan of the show.
Well, thank you.
And I was listening,
Hey.
and I was listening yesterday, and you had, I can't even, Hans
von
I just call
Spagovsky.
him Hans Al Rabowski. And
I'm going to tell him you said that
so I
next time he's
figured,
here.
well, this is a good time to have me in so you
Sure.
can bring the intelligence level like way down.
Oh, no.
Appeal to the dumber section.
No,
of
not
your
at all.
audience.
Hans is a smart man, though.
Yeah.
But
Oh, wow.
I've learned about underwear today from your book.
Yeah. Well, there you go. See, that's what I'm talking about. No, yeah, there was, there's a lot of sports in it. It's probably, well, I don't know what the percentage is, but there's quite a few sports things in there. So I knew about them, just had working knowledge of a lot of this weird stuff that's happened in St. Louis sports. And I just thought, wow, it'd be kind of interesting to see if there's other stuff out there. And I learned a lot just, in doing the book. I think if you live here, you really don't appreciate how much historic stuff happened here and how many weird things happened here. Like, for instance, if you ask somebody about what's the worst maritime disaster of all time, they immediately would say the Titanic.
Yeah.
And I would have too. But it's actually happened on the Mississippi River. There was a steamboat called the Sultana, and it was what was it? It was 12 days after Lincoln was shot, so it didn't get a lot of
news.
publicity. But it was a steamboat that ran between New Orleans and St. Louis, and the Civil War had just ended or was ending, and they were trying to transport Union prisoners of war back home. So this steamboat normally had a capacity of 376 people. And these guys were getting paid per soldier, to send back on this boat. So they put almost 2,200 people on this boat. It was mostly beat up, God knows what, prisoners of war from the Civil War, traveling back home, back north. And at 3:00 in the morning, 3 of the 4 boilers blew. And the whole ship became like a ball of fire.
Oh, my gosh.
And more people died, like almost 1,600 people died in that event, which is more than who died on the Titanic. So that is actually the worst maritime disaster in this country.
Yeah, I'm looking through the beginning of this book. So I really appreciate the way that you have it laid out because you have it, the different chapters or whatever of this book. It's very aesthetically pleasing. You could certainly sit it on your coffee table. 1800s, 1900s to the 20s, 30s to the 50s, 60s to the 70s, 80s to the 90s, 2000s, and the index is there. But to be able to look back and look at some of the historical events that have happened in this area, I mean, especially with the Mississippi River being here and the gateway to the West, this is a place where a lot of stuff happened.
Yeah. I was just telling Ryan, I probably should have waited because I just paid $3.21 for this 10-ounce soda at Kentucky Fried. And that's crazy but true. That would have been in
Can you put that on the back page of my book?
Maybe the next one. No, but here's a weird thing that I'm sure you don't know. But when the Eads Bridge is a very historic bridge, built by Andrew Carnegie. First time they used steel on a bridge like that. It was the first bridge across the Mississippi, first railroad across the Mississippi. So, and 15 people died building it, and 77 people were seriously hurt. So it was a big ordeal. And when they opened it in 1874, at the time when they were building bridges, 1 out of every 4 bridges failed.
My gosh.
Yikes. That's a pretty high ratio for.
So yeah, not good. So they had a ton of people for the opening, and the first being to, if it's a being, I guess, the first being to cross the Eads Bridge was an elephant.
Oh yeah, I've heard.
You heard that?
I've
so
heard
they
that
went
there
and
was
got
an elephant. Yeah,
they went and got a circus elephant to cross the bridge because the popular thought at the time was that elephants would never put their foot on something unstable.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was kind of weird.
I'd be more likely to cross a bridge after an elephant as well.
Well, I was thinking, maybe the Cardinals, like before they started this season, like on opening day, they should have had an elephant, and send him out there. And if he didn't go out, then you knew
right.
it was going to be bad.
You just phone it in.
This is shaky. We can't do this.
Yeah, not a good idea.
You do have a lot of sports knowledge in this book, and I'm sure just in general in your experience of having written for the amount of time that you have here in St. Louis, people want to talk about the X's and O's of sports on a regular basis, but there is a lot of history that comes along with the organizations that we have here that is recognized across the country.
Well, one of the things in the book is the first player to wear a baseball glove was a St. Louis Brown Stockings at the time player. Mm-hmm. There's lots of, the Cardinals have it. The stadium, I think most people know that Busch Stadium was supposed to be Budweiser Stadium, and that was supposed to be the name of it. So Gussie Busch's workaround there was to go ahead and call it Busch Stadium, and then he created Busch Beer. So it was the ultimate backdoor move.
I didn't know that. Yeah,
you'll get a kick out of this. So, and the playoffs are going on right now, and the Phillies looks like maybe they'll be back in the World Series, and their leadoff hitter is Kyle Schwarber. He batted 197 this season. He's their leadoff hitter. So the expression, I could do better with one hand or one arm. Well, in 1945, the Browns had an outfielder, Pete Gray, who only had one arm. He had his right arm amputated when he was 7 years old, but he played baseball, and he had a really great season in the minor leagues one year. And certainly as a way to sell tickets, the Browns called him up and had him on their team in 1945. Well, Pete Gray, that season, he played about half a season at bats-wise. He batted .218. So he literally did better with one arm than Kyle Schwarber did this season.
There's the title of this hour's
Man,
podcast.
Can you tell that St. Louis is not in the playoffs right now? We're like, but in the 1940s. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so pretty weird.
It's October, so a lot of people like haunted things. You have here that we were featured in an episode of Ghost Hunters with the Lemp Mansion. I don't know do you have The Exorcist mentioned in here?
Yeah, The
There's
Exorcist
some spooky
story.
things about St. Louis.
Yeah, and I always thought the Exorcist story had happened, if not on the campus in the neighborhood of St. Louis U, but it actually happened in Belle Noire, which is out in North County, like where Normandy Golf Club is. And the actual story took place here. I'm sure it was embellished quite a bit in the movie, but it actually took place here. And
you ever been to do you ever eat at the Lemp Mansion? They've got
no. I've been there. I know some people who stayed the night there though.
Did they?
Yeah, they couldn't take it.
Really?
Yeah, it's for real.
It's for real.
It's for real. And that show? What was the name of that show?
Ghost Hunters or something like that?
Yeah, Ghostbusters or Ghost something.
Ghostbusters or Ghost
You know the
Hunters.
movie Ghostbusters?
Yeah. It was based on Lemp Man. No. No, it was an episode in that show. So it's nationally renowned.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't want to try it. I wouldn't want to spend
I'm not messing with it.
No.
I might think it's foolish to some extent, but not enough to be
when
see?
I saw The Exorcist, it took me many days to get over that.
I have yet to see The
And
Exorcist.
here's the best. So I go see, and I'm Catholic, so that's like in your kitchen.
Sure.
So
I'm Lutheran light, Catholic without the guilt.
yeah, same. So I went and saw it one night, and I came home. It was a late showing. I probably got home. I was, went somewhere afterwards. I get home at 2:00 in the morning, and there were 9 kids in our house, so I slept in a bunk bed, and my brother, a year younger, slept in the bottom, and I slept in the top. So I get home 2:00 in the morning. Lights are all. Everybody's asleep. Crawl up into the bed, and I'm just starting to settle down and maybe fall asleep, and I hear from the bottom bunk, Reagan. My brother had stayed up
Just to screw around
just
with
to
you.
do that.
That's
to me.
That's
funny.
a great brother.
I just say
yeah.
that's how you know you get along with your siblings. Well, it's by Reedy Press, and Dan O'Neill is the author. The book is Crazy But True: St. Louis History, Unpredictable, Unbelievable, and Downright Bizarre. Any recommendations on the best place people can get the book?
Well, tomorrow, Annie, I'm going to be at the Makers Market
Okay.
at Watson Trail Park in Sunset Hills. It starts at 10. It's from 10 to 5. I'll have this book with me. I'll have, I've got a book I put out last year called Best of the Blues.
Oh, okay.
So I got several sports books along, as you mentioned, along with this one. And I'll be there, signing and relaxing. And
You got a blue
whatever.
shirt on right now. How you think they're going to do this year? They going to compete?
I think they're going to have a hard time making the playoffs.
We need a
Really.
playoff team in St. Louis.
They just announced their Hall of Fame class, so
Yeah.
and I'm on the committee, so I could give you some inside scoop on that.
You can tell me anything. I don't even know what questions
Well,
to
I
ask.
can,
I'm
I
gonna be
can tell you
honest.
this.
Are the
like,
Blues going to hockey well this year? That's where I'm at. I could talk Cardinals all day, but
Well, BB King is a heck of a forward for the Blues. I can tell you that.
Yeah, historic.
No, so yeah, they just announced it, and just to give you a little how important I am to that process. Not a single person I voted for.
but
made
you
the Hall
still
of
got to
Fame.
vote. That's the way I feel when I vote in
Yeah.
elections in Illinois.
Right.
It's the same thing, really.
Yeah,
It's not much
yeah,
different.
It's pretty true. Yeah.
The book is Crazy But True: St. Louis History. Go order it. And really, really cool, fun gift for somebody, maybe like a coworker or a teacher or something in St. Louis, because there is a lot of really interesting stuff in here. I've enjoyed paging through it, and wish you great success on this. And maybe you'll come
Thank
back
you.
sometime and
I'd love to. Thanks.
Talk
As
with
I
us
said,
again.
big fan.
well, we appreciate you. We're a big fan of yours, Dan O'Neill.